I made this customized bra cup making use of just wording and my hairstay, and this is the result I achieved. If you're interested in this, stick around. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial will be basically on how to sew this cupped corset top made with zipper. The last tutorial I posted how to draft and cut out the patterns for this. So if you've not seen it, you want to check the description on this video. I'll be dropping the link there. All right. In the last tutorial, I drafted and we cut out the patterns for this beautiful cupped corset top that I achieved with a zipper. In today's tutorial, we'll be focusing on how to sew them, the right ways to join them, the right boning channels to use if you're making use of a zipper. So this is for the front. I've cut out everything I need. For this one, I've cut out the lining as well. For this one, I've cut out the lining. For this part, I'm not making use of this Ankara fabric. I'm making use of a plain black fabric, and I'm also attaching it. So I'm gonna ahead to do that, you can see, so I don't make mistakes. I'm gonna have to attach my neck to it, and this is going to be the lining. Also for this our pattern, make sure that you add your half-inch sewing allowance. As well for this, you can see I've added my half-inch sewing allowance, and I've cut out the black part, which is going to be for the main fabric, and also the net on it. This is the yoke, okay, the strap that I'll cut out that time for the front. I've also cut out the main fabric I'll be using for it, and also the net as well. I'm also going to be adding lining to this, as if I added my half-inch sewing and half-inch at the down part as well. I omitted this part because I want it to be firm, okay. So you can omit this part, but for the back I added half-inch at this part. But for this side, you just add half-inch for joining to this part. So this is what we have for the front. For the back as well, I've gone ahead to add my interface. Can you see? And also cut out my lining. This is the center back, okay. Remember, this is where the zipper part will be. So I added just half and quarter of an inch for it, okay. Then also for the side, I added just half of an inch. Remember, we cut out with that, so I'm not going to be sewing. I'm just going to be sewing back this fabric as well. So at this part as well, I added my half-inch for sewing. Now, for the side seam, you can add as many allowance as you want, whatever it is you know you can work with. But for mine, I just did 1¼ basically. I just used 1¼ for my side seam. All right, so now for the yoke for the back as well, I've placed my pattern on the plain fabric, and I've also cut it out on the lace as well. So I just added half-inch all around, like you can see, for my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead now and take out my pattern paper, and then pick my fabric to fabric, because I'm making sure that everything I want to achieve a neat finish, okay. So I'm going to be placing the fabric on the fabric and the lining on the lining. So I'll go ahead first and sew in that part. Remember, we cut out that, so I'm just attaching the fabrics back all together. So I'm attaching it like you see. You can just pin this down before you take it to your sewing machine to sew. All right, so I'll just go ahead now and pin it down. I'll also be repeating the same thing on the lining as well. I've joined it. I've joined the lining. You want to be careful when you're joining it. I'm not gonna hit, place my same open. Don't join. You also want to add your bias, okay, where your boning, your pattern, your boning channel. You want to add as many as you want, but for the back, I added just 2. Remember the yoke for the upper parts as well. I'm going for my pattern. I'm gonna have to, join the lining parts to the fabric, okay. And once I've done it as well, I also top stitch. If you look closely, you see it. I top stitch it, all right, so that it won't be coming out at the front part. So once you're done joining your bias parts, just go ahead and join this part. So this is what I'll have. This is what I'll have now. Once I'm done. So to join this now, after you line this part, just place it facing this side, okay. I attached the sleeves like this, and I've also added my zipper. Doing my boning sleeve, I'm making use of this boning on it. So this type of boning, I want to make sure that we leave half inch shape and also 1 inch at the down part. So we'll just go ahead and add it now. And then you also want to make sure that the edges are not sharp. Just measure out 4 inches. Sharpen these edges. Go ahead and do the same thing on the sides. The space for joining of my sleeve, okay, of my zipper. So I'll just close this part. I'll close only this part like this, and I'll also be sewing this part. I'll be bringing out everything from this side. So I've added this. I've added the bonus. You can see the effect it's giving it. So I added it to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then I've also added my lining piece to it. So you want to add the line to the down part firstly. But you're done adding it to the lining part. See this part? You want to top stitch it. Okay. So that the fabric does not start lining does not start poking out outside. You just top stitch. Also turn it at the neckline as well, then finish it up neatly like this. So this is what the back looks like. I'll just go ahead and iron this, then I'll sew this down. Also sew this part and then move to the front. To work on the front part of this cupped corset top, I'm trying to cut out what I'll be using to make my cup corset. I'm making use of the wording to make this cup corset. So basically all you need is just to place your pattern on the wording and cut out the exact measurement. So this is the flexible fleece I used. It's commonly called wording from this part of the country I am. Okay, so I just doubled it. This is the width of it. I just doubled it in making mine. So for this wording, you'll be cutting 2 each, all right, because we're going to be using our steam iron to make it become 1. I'm going to be showing you the process I used as well in making it. So I'll just cut it out and I'll be cutting 2 for each, all right. Also, you want to ensure that the word you are making use of is thick. Okay, if it's not as thick as you like, you can double it. You can make it 3 instead of double, all right. So once you're done cutting it out, before you go ahead to iron the layers, you want to make sure that you point out where your bust point is so that you don't mix it up, and also so that you can make sure that your bust points meet. Okay, so to join these two bust cups together, you also need to cut out another feasible fleece which is known as hairstay. All right, so to cut out this part, you'll be adding your half inch to just the part where the bust cups will be meeting. All right, so you just add half inch, like you see, just add half inch just at the parts where the two bust cups will be joined together. All right, so I will cut this out for one side of the cup. We'll also be repeating the same thing on the other side. So just add half inch on the side where the two cups meet. Okay, that half inch is for joining the two together, like I've rightly said. So I'll go ahead now and gum all this together. To gum it, you want to place the stay, the part that have the rough part, that's the part that has the gum. You want to make it facing up. Place the first layer of the wording and place the second layer of the wording on it, like you see me do. So I'll be taking all this to my ironing table, and I'll just use my steam iron to do this. If you don't have a steam iron, just place all you need on your pressing table. Use a little fabric and cover it up. Sprinkle water on it and keep your iron on low heat and leave it for a while. Just keep checking on it to make sure it is done. It is ready. Once you're done pressing them, this is what it should look like. You can see my wording, the double layer that I did, still obvious. You can just go ahead and make sure it is not obvious. Just keep pressing until you have something as neat as this. All right, I also went ahead to join this by that half of an inch that we left for the joining. So To join it, you just want to make use of your invisible zipper foot, and that was what I used so that it can be as close as possible and give it this neat finishing you can see here. So this is another form of making your bust cup if you don't have your bra cup. Okay, this is a customized bra cup, and I actually love the effect I got, and it's actually very easy. I loved it. For the front as well, I've gone ahead to join it, placing the middle part, and I placed the side part on the middle part, and I just joined it. Once I was done, I took it to my ironing table and I pressed my seams open. I repeated the same process on the lining as well. The fashion fabric as well for the upper part has have been joined. Remember, it was a plain black fabric. I made use of a plain black crepe. So I've also attached that lace to it as well. And I also went ahead and joined it by that half of an inch. I added an interface to this to help it maintain structure before joining. Also for the lining as well, I've gone ahead to join them by the side. You can add your interface to your lining as well, but if you notice I didn't add it, not for any serious reason, just that I want it to be as free as possible, because the lining I made use of is a black fabric and can always retain heat, so I don't want it to be too hot and uncomfortable for me whenever I rock my design. So I'll be placing my boning channel on my front now. So you want to place one at the point where your stitches mark, where the stitches meet. You'll be placing one as well at the middle point. So fold your fabric evenly. Make sure it is even. Go ahead and notch this part to get the middle, and also notch the down part as well. Okay, to help you to know the part you'll be placing. So I'll just go ahead and place my boning channel here. You can also decide to add one more, but just make sure that, remember there's sewing allowance here. You just want to make sure that you just that sewing allowance before adding. So I'll just go in by 1 inch from this side, then I'll be adding at the middle here. And then for this part as well, I'll just go out by 1 inch from here, then I'll also add it. I'll finish this too. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and do all this and show you what it looks like. So let's completely work on our customized bra cup. To go ahead and mold it while ironing with your tailor's arm, or make use of a curved part, any surface that have a curved part that you can place it on. You don't want to iron it flat. All right, so now to place it on our fashion fabric, you want to place hemming gum on the customized bra cup. Make sure that the sewing allowance on that part matches up with sewing allowance on our customized bra cup. So just place it carefully. So the hemming gun will help in holding the fashion fabric and the customized bra cup in place. Alright, you can also make use of your pins to hold this down before taking it to your sewing, to your so just try and do this carefully so that your customized bra cup sits perfectly on the fashion fabric. All right, so just make use of your pin, adjust it till you are sure that the deepest part of that customized fabric bra cup is also sitting properly at the deepest part of your fashion fabric. Just go ahead and pin it down before you iron. So once you're done and you have secured this completely, just take it to your pressing table, and press it, making use of your steam iron, or you can just place water on it. You get, place another fabric, then also use a curved part to iron, or your tailor's hand to iron. Okay, so once I was done, this is what I achieved. This is what it looks like after I was done pressing. I've also gone ahead to join. I've attached it to the main fabric, making use of that half of an inch we used. So you also want to make use of this same process to join your lining as well, the exact same way you joined the bodies, then join the cup, and now join the cup to the main bodies. That's the exact way you should join your lining. So once I was done, this is what my boning channel looks like, and this is the lining as well. For the lining as well, I've attached the cup parts to the lining too. So I'll just go ahead and iron this so I can lay flat. I'll be attaching the sleeve. For the sleeve as well, I've also joined that. Attach the lining to the right side and also top stitch on it. I put it on the same other side too as well. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and iron it flat as well. Then I'll be attaching it to this part. Yeah, attaching it to this part here, like you see. So I'll do the same thing on the other side too as well. Okay. After attaching the sleeve on this part, like you see, we want to also attach the line. Okay. Let's put the right side of the line and the right side of the fabric and sew it all out. Once you're done, also top stitch. You need to also see a top stitch and the part here. So just top stitch it so that it doesn't start coming out. Okay. Then before you complete this, you want to make sure you check that the side of the back lines with the side of the front. Okay. Now this is accurate. I also check for at the other side as well. And ensure that both sides are even. And see it's also accurate as well. So I'll just go ahead now and sew this down. So I'll just sew this down now. So I'll take this then we'll just take it now, take it to the sewing machine. Neglect this part, just start from this part like this. And so okay. Make sure that the sewing part aligns. Even this one too aligns with this. The part of this too aligns with the one inside, and this part too aligns with this bit. So just start from here and sew it, and sew to this point too as well. Then turn it out. So I'm done turning it now. This is what it looks like inside. Can you see how relaxed it looks? I've also joined the lining of the front to the fabrics of the front. Okay. So now to complete couple it, I want to make sure that this part is even. So if you're joining the wrong side of the front and the wrong side of the back together, so you can just go ahead and pin this down. Then you put the same thing on the other side as well. And see that the sides are even. So when you're sewing, make sure that the measurements are accurate so that the side as well can be even. So I'll just go ahead now and sew this down by quarter of an inch, and I'll also repeat the same thing on this side as well. Sew it by quarter of an inch, then I'll flip it out and take my measurements. So by the time I flipped it out, I took out my measurements now. For your measurements, you want to go ahead and input all your horizontal measurements again. Alright, so you can start either from the back first or from the front first. Alright, so I started from the back. I just started from the shoulder and imputed my bust point, my shoulder to my waist, shoulder to my under bust, shoulder to my bust as well. Okay, so once you're done now, you go ahead and impute all your vertical measurements. You want to take out your bust measurements, stretch out your fabric a bit so that you'll be able to get your actual measurements. So once you've gotten the measurements, impute the measurements. What you have left there, you want to divide it evenly into two, like you see me do now. At the under bust as well, stretch out the fabric and impute the right measurements at that point there. So remember, my waist was 32 divided by 2 give me 16. I imputed 16. What I have left there was 3.5. I divided it into 2, and that means I'll be having 1.25 on one side and 1.25 on the other side. For the waistline as well, you want to impute your measurements. I also imputed my waist measurement of 32 inches, but at this point I wanted it to be well snatched, so I just made it 31. Alright, so I imputed, which means I have more allowance left, sewing allowance left, so I just imputed it and divided what I have into 2. Okay, at the hip line as well, I imputed my measurements and I divided what I have left into two. So basically this is just how you need to couple your fabric and take out your measurements. I'll just go ahead now and connect from the bust to the under bust to the waist and to the hip line. I'll be repeating the same thing on the other side as well. So the same way you did it the first time, you want to go ahead and impute your shoulder to your bust, shoulder to your under bust, shoulder to your waist, then your hip line. Then go ahead and impute all your measurements. So now if you notice, my waist is looking more pronounced now, and this is just because I took in 2 inches more. Remember that my waist while I was drafting it was 32, but now after coupling my fabric, I decided to make it 30, okay, to have that snatched effect, even though I'm making use of a zipper. Okay, so you can always take this out right from when you are drafting. So once you're done coupling your outfit, the next thing is to join the shoulder. I've actually joined mine, so I'll just show you the process I use in joining mine. So you'll be sewing lining to lining, your fashion fabric to your fashion fabric. So if you're sewing the front facing the right side of your front, facing the right side of your back for the lining, and also the right side of the front and also facing the right side of your back once you are sewing the fashion fabric as well. So that's all you need to sew your shoulders together. Now once you are doing it, you want to make sure that you are sewing from where that fashion fabric stops, you're sewing it out. Then also for the lining as well, you're sewing from where the lining starts, you're sewing it out. All right, so it looks seamless and does not have that bulkiness at the middle. It is as clean as this. Just go ahead and attach your sleeve. Okay, you also want to make sure that you check your measurements to ensure it is accurate. So I've checked mine and mine is accurate, so I'll just go ahead and add my to my armor. I have 9 inches here. I want my sleeve to be as long as possible. The length I'm using for this sleeve is 27 inches. And from this point here, I just come down by 4 inches for this point here. And that 4 inch I divided it by 2. This is going to be my cap and this 2. So at that 2 inches, you want to go in by 4.5 inch. Alright, then at the 4 inch mark, you want to impute your round sleeve measurements. Okay, my round sleeve was 14 divided by 2 gave me 7. So I imputed my round sleeve and I also added my sewing allowance to this. For the type of sleeve I'm making, I want it to be a little fitted at my 22 inches mark, then it will be free to the hem. Alright, so at that 22 inches mark, I just imputed the circumference I have there, which was 7 inches divided by 2 gave me 3.5. Then I added my sewing allowance. Alright, so once I was done, I just made it flare all through from that 22 inches mark to the hem of the sleeve. Alright, so at the end of the sleeve, I used 7 inches as well for the width and I added my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead now and connect from my round sleeve to that 22 inches mark. From the 22 inches mark, I connected it to the hem total length of the sleeve. So I'll be connecting my armhole points now to make it visible. Once I'm done, I'll also be cross-checking from the round sleeve without the sewing allowance to be sure that my armhole is accurate. So I got 9 inches here and also I have 8.5. I have 8.5 on the armhole. So look at this, I'm cutting the two sleeves at the same time. Alright, so I'll just go ahead now and cut this. I folded my fabric into 2 and folded it into 2 again so that I could cut out the sleeve at the same time. So once I'm done cutting it now, I'm going to be sewing down my sleeve by that sewing allowance I left. Alright, so once I'm done sewing it, I'll be attaching it to the armhole of my blouse. So you want to measure out again to be sure your measurement is accurate. Turn out your sleeve, making sure that the right side of your sleeve is facing the right side of your outfit. Then pin this down all through. then we'll be taking it to our sewing machine to sew. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like, turn on post notifications so you get informed whenever I post a new video. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. Okay, we've come to the end of our tutorial for today. Alright, I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found this worth your time, and I hope you found it valuable. See you on the next one. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.